Bonjour, SRA Nation. Welcome to Division 3, Season 3, Round 6 at Paul Ricard. I am your host, Douglas Mitchell, and I am joined today by Andrew Anderson.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? C'est soir? Welcome to the south of France. We're at the French Riviera. Where else do you want to have an auto race? Thanks for having me along for the ride tonight.
I'm excited for what is expected to be another exciting race. Not only are we racing in the French Riviera, but we're also racing in a starry night of romantic France. Dusk upon us in the early onsets of the race into complete darkness by the end. Should be exciting.
You got your A game tonight. Let's go.
I'm feeling it. I mean,
The A game is upon us.
So what we're looking at here, Otis was a big fan favorite last week. Both Andrew and I brought our cigarettes because that is very French, but Otis brought a baguette. What's not to like?
Hey, I learned today that it's okay to eat your baguette in the street in France as long as you don't eat below the top of the bag. But it's impolite to eat your baguette if you have to dig into the bag. And otherwise, you also cannot eat anything unless you're yours. It's impolite and rude. I didn't know that till today.
You learn something new every day. When you were
Absolutely.
cramming for our French quiz that we had to give today.
Absolutely.
Well, let's give our viewers a glimpse of our beloved track today. Honestly, this track is strictly known for its very long straight, and this track map tries to hint at the fact that there's a chicane in the middle. That is not the case. On ACC, turns 8, 9, 10, 11 do not exist, and we're just plowing straight through that bad boy, carrying the most speed that this game is ever going to see. So you can forfeit those 4 corners. And our drivers are going to be very remiss to miss that chicane. A lot of people are fond of it. But that just means that more passing opportunities in the toe all the way down the straight into what is, in my opinion, the hardest part of the track, the reducing radius right-hander of what is marked on screen as turn 13. So you mind giving us a rundown, Andrew, of some of the specifics of this beloved track?
Well, they could have paved 38 parking lots in the March de Quai instead of actually paving this racetrack. But it's fun. It's mainly built for testing. It's actually Paul Ricard HTTT, which stands for High Tech Test Track. It's perfect for that because if you bring your $5 million car here, you can't really wreck it. And you can't hurt anything because there's enough runoff to last forever. So the thing we're going to look at tonight as far as the actual racing surface is that you already hinted on it. These corners are closing corners. And we're going to point this out during the race so you can see what we're talking about for when the viewers here are racing on this track, because we assume they're going to be racing as well if they're watching this, that all the corners are closing and that the exits of all the corners are one lane. And that causes a problem because it's difficult to pass anyone when you can't get the drop on somebody coming out of a corner. It's very difficult. It's different when you have tracks that have a one lane entry, but now you got a one lane exit and it's closing, and everybody's doing this at a different speed, and it makes for quite a challenge. And so having these guys stay off of each other is the biggest challenge this track creates. So them squiggly bits that are fun, and there's a backstretch that's longer than the entirety of I-85 throughout the United States.
And our drivers will remind us throughout the race, I'm sure, as to which cars are strong on straights, like the Audi, which is a crowd favorite, or some cars that struggle on the straights, like the Porsche. You're going to find that it's really lacking in the leg department. It's too unfortunate because I heard the French like their legs, if you know what I'm saying. some stockings and stuff like that. Yeah, with a little beret. Say less. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive into our drivers, our standings here. Previous weeks, we only showed the top 24. The graphics department wanted to give some love to the entire grid, so we love to see that. At the top of the leaderboard, Austin Sawyer, who's had himself a very great collection of races recently, finds himself in P1. And his adversary, OMG, it's Pav, in P2. And then we're looking at teammates Toddy and Flo for 3 and 4. A very good performance from the two of them. Very stable in the Bentley all season long. And then in 5th, we have Daniel Gutierrez. And just rounding out the order, we have GTG, Dan Meyer, Sarver, Kyle Miller, Ramon Lorenzo, Aoki, and Jan Rodriguez. And as you can see throughout the list, we have a full grid. Not everyone showing up this evening, but that being said, we have a very packed Division 3, which I, as an admin, love to see. Love to see. And we already have some people in the chat saying that Sawyer is going to take the win tonight. Early guesses, and that's honestly a safe bet, but there have been some other drivers to show some pretty good pace around here. That being said, each of these drivers, which I already hinted at with Toddy and the other Bentleys, each team is made up of 2 drivers. So at the top here, we have Toddy and Flo, Apex Hunters in the Bentley and P1. Then Thick Boys in an Aston Martin. Again, the graphics department doing a fantastic job showing off their skills this week with the logos and everything. Looks super clean. But 2 Astons on the podium, Legally Blind Racing in 3rd, and then M4, BMW with Baseline Racing for P4. And then you have a collection of Audis and Astral United Team Atreides, which were the early season favorites. They're kind of falling down the pecking order a little bit, but they're hoping to get some much needed points this week on a track that is very strong for the Audi. Tre Ragazzi and Ghost Rider Racing Bravo, P8. And then we have Beledas Broncos Express and 905 Slammed Racing Division rounding out the top 10. League-wide favorite Bentley Boys Club is hanging out in P11. I promise you, they're only 5 points shy of P10. They want to be in the top 10 desperately to show the other BBC drivers that they deserve to carry the BBC name. All that being said, are you ready to see some of our drivers on track?
Let's do it. Let's see some racing tonight.
All right, so first and foremost, we're looking at what was Josh Butler, who elected to return to the pits. Let's go find someone else who's on a flying lap right now. Rukoski, who was in the middle of the frame for most of the race last week, is looking to have another great performance here, currently sitting in P6. But as these drivers are rounding out their first batch of qualifying here, I can explain the format for those that are new with us. The Division 3 is split into 2 splits. We have Division 3 Gold and Division 3 Silver. The silver drivers go out first, and you're going to find that a lot of them are going to be bailing out of their laps because, as you can see, the qualifying is encroaching that 15-minute mark, and because of that, that's all they really have time for. So once that 15 minutes is consumed, they all have to come back into the pits and rest on the lap times that they committed to, and then the batch of gold drivers gets to go out and set their flying laps to see where they can qualify. We'll go ahead and see here if we can find some drivers that are on a flying lap. It's looking like Channing here is in a very good position here. He was 7/10 up going onto the straight. Looks like he lost a couple tenths leading to the straight, but he is hanging right in time with what he was otherwise doing. That's going to put him very comfortable, very close to P2 if I had to guess. But while these drivers are rounding out their laps here, Andrew, you have any context you want to provide about this beloved French truck?
Yeah, I guess talking about the track and also talking about French racing, you know, there's such a rich history here of racing in the country of France. You know, they've had a world championship Formula One race since early '60s. And they've had the Formula One world championship race at about 7 different tracks. They've done this at Reims, which was just country roads. They've done this uh, at Rouen, which is, of course, where Mrs. of Arc met her doom at the hands of the British. They've had it 5 times there. Clermont-Ferrand, which is probably the nicest of the tracks, had the race several times. And Le Mans actually had the 1967 Formula One Grand Prix, which in the most glorious season ever of Formula One. So Magny-Cours has had it 18 times. That's not exactly a gem of a track. And here at Paul Ricard, they've had this race on and off since 1971 when the track was originally christened by Paul Ricard, who's a drinks magnate. Of course, he had the cash to build the track. But what I really want to talk about, I think, as we lead up into the to the end of qualifying, is that France has got about 65 million people, about 10 million more people than live in Great Britain, but there's not as many internationally prepared tracks or FIA graded in tracks as you have in Britain. I think France is desperately short of tracks. We've got Dijon Prédois, which is kind of a club track. It really wasn't ever big enough for Formula One after the '70s. It's northeast of here. Magny-Cours in the north. You've got club tracks, kind of like Nagaro. You have Lebanon. We have Albi here in the south and west of France. But none of those really do anything other than do club sports car racing, if not touring car racing. So I think my commentary here on this track is that France needs more racetracks because they have so much great history here. But if you're going to have one here at in the south of France, is the perfect place. We mentioned early that this is a test track, high tech test track. So but we're here in the lavender fields. We're right at the southern tip of hundreds and hundreds of acres of lavender here in the south of France. And the reason it's a great test track is because it's warm during the winter. People can come and bring their $5 million race cars down here. But the track wasn't really made for competitive racing. It's best for testing. It's a wonderful place to have a track. It's a great place. It's one of the biggest tourist destinations in all of France. So a beautiful, beautiful place. I think my outgoing commentary here is France needs more racing.
Eloquently put, my friend. But while Andrew was giving his dissertation about the beloved history of French racing, we've been on board with Gutierrez here, who, again, has been very quick all season. He's on his first, what would be considered a hot lap, but he's currently 7/10 down, but we've been watching the whole lap just to give you guys a good idea of what a lap around here looks like. This is the reducing radius corner we talked about earlier. Very difficult to carry speed through there without spinning because the back end wants to go loose. And then right here, it's deceivingly difficult because the track is so flat. There's no banking whatsoever. The car just wants to slip. And that's actually what caught me out yesterday. Rest in peace, the beginning of my race. I actually spun and collected another driver. Apologies. But this track is deceivingly difficult in certain elements, despite being a pretty straightforward driving experience. That was a full lap there with Gutierrez, but now we can do one where we can actually commentate over a little bit. You're coming down the front straight. You're going to brake hard, cut this early corner, not too much though, because you can invalidate. Crest this, use the whole track, and we're full beans all the way to the next hard braking zone, which is going to be a right. Brake at the 100, cut this corner, nice, and then ride this inside curb. Another great job. Down to first gear, really slow corner here. Runs a little wide, but that's okay. Hug this inside corner, and it's all about getting the power down smooth and fast. That way you can get as much run up to the long straight as possible. You can lose or gain a lot of time on this straight if you get a good run. And I could literally get up and grab a drink, finish my drink, and then come back before he's done with the straight here. But we're going to stick with it. And he's currently green on his lap right now, so maybe the commentator's curse is a blessing in this instance. Right here at the curbing break, commit to that early apex, and then stay within those 3 cones on the left to stay valid. Hard on the brakes, reducing radius. You can see his car sliding. It's tough to keep traction. Over the inside curbing here, easy on the power so you don't slide out. Get back on the outside to take this late apex here because this inside curb will throw you for a loop. And then again, just keep this corner nice and tight to maintain the shortest distance to the following corner. Hard on the brakes. Again, another reducing corner. Cheat this curb a little bit. Hard on the brakes. Rotate around the final turn. Try and keep it tight. Power down and cross the line. Unfortunately, that was not a better lap for Mr. Gutierrez, so we'll leave him be, but thank you for showing us how to take a lap around here, sir.
And under the Arc de Triomphe he goes. You know, one thing as we go around and get to the beginning of the backstretch, one thing that it's hard to notice, there's a Marshall stand right there at the end of the corner before you go into the backstretch. If you notice, there's actually a little stand there where you can buy No-Dos and Vivarin in case you need a little pick-me-up to make sure you make it all the way to the end of that backstretch still in good consciousness.
Instead of an American track selling funnel cakes, elephant ears, corn dogs, and pizza, and just shitty beer, here you can find yourself baguettes, lots of freshly made butter, and cigarettes in plenty. That's the French culture for you.
It's raining baguettes. Hallelujah, it's raining baguettes. Oh, excuse me.
There's nothing wrong with a fresh bread, let me tell you. We're on board with Austin Sawyer, crowd favorite to win tonight. He's proven to be very strong. Collected a drive-through last week, which put him at the back of the grid, and he still managed to claw his way back all the way to P3, which is just not fair, frankly. But that being said, he's looking to make another standout performance this week, and currently finds himself in P2. But he's
not for long.
He's 9/10, now 8/10 up on his lap. And he's crossing the line here. Puts himself into P1 by a 7/10 margin. That's just despicable.
There you go, man. I think that after last week's unfortunate drive-through that put him behind, I think he's knitting the names of all the drivers that passed him into a scarf right now. I think he'll pull that out at the end.
That's going to be a long scarf.
It's going to be a scarf. But that's the way those scarves go. You have to knit all the names into them.
Do you think that while on the straight you have enough time to actually crochet a scarf? I think so.
I think Sawyer will, and I think he's got some names he's going to put into that thing.
We're on board with GTG here, another driver that's proven to be quite strong throughout the season. The M4 is pretty planted around here, but he's struggling to get an improvement on his time. There's a whole host of drivers within 1 second of each other. Basically from P3 all the way down to P15 are all within a second of each other, which is just insane.
Now, Gutierrez is a half a second up, and that'll put him on the podium in qualifying if he keeps it together. GTG. I've got a bumper cam on him.
Yeah, and GTG's also improving quite a bit too, also in the 5/10 region here, as he's rounding to the final straight.
They got about 3 laps to go to get their business done, guys. It's time to go. It's go time. It's time to put down your croissant. Time to grip it and rip it and put your foot through the firewall.
I'm just reviewing the Twitch chat here. We have love for Mike Muselli all day long from a first-time chat from viewer Crowd Killer. Welcome. And then we have Demilitarized DMZ. What a name. Giving a shout out to Ghost Rider Racing. They always have huge support in the comments. That's Miller. And
bring it on.
I forgot who Miller's teammate is. Excuse me. They're probably gonna flame me in the chat. Let me just pause for a second. It's Whitting Jr. That's what it was. So yeah, those guys are going to be doing great tonight. And then we have Jacob Wolfman in the chat supporting himself. What's not to like?
Nice. Sometimes you got to bring your own smack.
DMZ says he would have been running with the Ghost Rider crew, but Whitting Jr. Replaced him, which just means that inevitably we're going to have Ghost Rider Team 3, because we already have an Audi version. So join the league and form another conglomerate. We already have BBC in a few different divisions. Maybe Ghost Rider is the next conglomerate to take over the league.
Team Trois.
Team Trois. Another driver, Sarver here, is looking to make a pretty good improvement here. He's in Sector 3. Commentator's curse. It looks like he's going to back out here.
It is.
Because he lost 3 tenths.
Yep.
What's crazy about this track is that it's so wide and open that all the camera angles are from super far away. Believe it or not, that tiny speck in the middle of the screen is a race car.
They're trying to stay over the trees there over the backstretch.
Very observant viewers could see that there's different colored striping around the track, which is kind of the almost iconic view of what this French track looks like. You have the normal curbing, which is a death trap in of itself, but you also have that blue striped area, which is very rough, and that helps the cars to slow down quite a bit, as opposed to a gravel trap. And then you have the red stuff, which is even more abrasive. If any of our drivers find themselves in the red striping, they're having a bad night.
Yeah, if you're on the red stuff, you've done it wrong.
One thing we need to keep an eye out for, Andrew, is that there's an opportunity from Sector 1 to cut that entire first twisty bit to just skirt right over to the straight. If we see anybody taking that maneuver to kind of save time, I've been told from race stewards that that's going to be an automatic disqualification.
The French police are out to get you, and they're watching. The guys with the flat hats are watching.
Most of their police cars are usually pretty slow, though, compared to these GT3 cars, I imagine. Good luck catching them.
So we're here at the business end of qualifying. There's about a lap to go here for everybody. Jobry in the BMW 269 BMW is a half a second up. That could actually get him into the top 5 or 6 if he just keeps in it. I got a bonnet cam on him.
And I'm showing the cinematic camera.
The camera du cinématique. We're
Sure.
about to find out. We're about to find out how far 2 years of French at Robert Wood Johnson Memorial High School in Gainesville, Georgia, will take us tonight from 1984 and 85. I don't think it's going to take us very far.
I took Spanish in high school, so I'm a lost cause here. Claro que sí. I'll be good for Barcelona.
I don't speak French, but I do kiss that way. That's all I got out of that class. Oh, that's gross.
Any takers to prove us wrong?
And the chat just went away. Nobody's left.
Speaking of the chat, Trackalicious with a wave. That's a fellow North American League. Welcome, my friends, to Division 3. This is the peak content portion of SRA right here. These guys know how to give us a show.
Check the 411 car. He's up by half a click. And with that, if he can finish it, would put him on the pole. Pole award sponsored by Perrier this week on a one-off.
What's the prize? Is it a trophy or is it just a bottle of sparkling water?
Oh, it's just a bottle of water.
Maybe it's one of the big ones, you know?
The budget's not great.
Well, they said that the content needs to improve if they're going to expect more.
Yeah, no champagne tonight.
You know what happened? Gutierrez invalidated his lap, which is why he had to abandon it, unfortunately. A driver that's up, though, we've talked about the Ghost Rider crew. Whitting Jr., the replacement for DMZ, is currently almost nearly a second up. Lost a 10th there. Let's see if he can find it again. Well, lost another 10th with this car, what looked like was just skipping across the road. Rounding the final few corners, he's lost 4/10 in Sector 3 from just us being on board. That's the commentator's curse. Let's see if he can bring it home with a good sense of improvement here.
Nice exit. Go, 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 go. He's up 7 clicks. That'll move him way up the order. Under the Arc de Triomphe.
Up to P17, very nice. Toddy also giving us a little bit of something to look at. Oh, that's qualifying over, actually. All right.
The first stanza is complete, Douglas. We are ready to line them up and go racing. We got a few moments here while everybody cools down and dries their palms off. One thing I didn't mention in pre-race is, if everybody remembers, this is the track that Frank Williams and his team went to practice at, and on the drive home from this track back to England, that's where they had their car accident, and he lost the use of his legs. So this is where they were. This is where they were at.
Rest in peace.
That fateful day. He finally passed away last year or so. Great man of racing. Credit to the sport, and the world of racing and race fans is better because of him.
They played a nice homage to him in a YouTube video Formula One did. That was nice.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, Andrew. So make sure that you click drive again, just to so that all that stuff goes away.
Correct.
But while we're waiting here, I'm gonna keep going back to the chat because it's quite lively this evening. I love that. We have love for Chunk and Sawyer. That's always a safe bet from those two. And then Jacob Wolfman says, I heard Jacob Wolfman isn't the fastest, but is the sexiest. I am inclined to agree, but I think you're a bit biased, Mr. Wolfman. A little bit biased. And Michael Jeffries in the chat saying that he heard the same thing about Mr. Wolfman. So, I mean, personally, again, we're on the topic of bias. I think Andrew and I look pretty good in our berets. Personally, I think we're looking pretty good.
I give you 3 Chevaliers for yours. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And Otis with his baguette. You really can't go wrong.
That's great. He is the king of the divan.
Well, we're looking back at the grid here. We're going to be getting situated here shortly. We can go through the grid on who qualified where. And like expected, Mr. Sawyer has collected P1. And in P2 is Gutierrez, which we haven't seen him, I think, for at least a week, because I don't remember him participating last week. But he is back with a vengeance, holding down P2. Newcomer Phil Ho in P3. Great to see new people up at the front in that McLaren. Roderick's another very formidable driver in P4. Aoki in the Nissan, nursing a Nissan to P5. You love to see it.
Godzilla's back. Godzilla eats Paris.
Godzilla marching down the straight to the tune of 5th place. Not bad. Lorenzo in P6 in his Audi. Josh Butler, another newcomer, has had a couple rough weeks, but clawed back some great positions last week. Starting in P7, that's an incredible effort from him. GTG in the Honda, by the way. The Honda's a tough car to drive, so kudos to him.
Yep.
For those watching for the first time, you're going to see some cars driving inside one another. Don't fret. On the out lap, they're warming up their tires, getting familiar with the track a little bit more, and then basically there's no collision on the out lap. But once the lights go green, we will the collision turns back on, and then if you touch each other, carnage ensues. But what I'm seeing right now, while the cars are driving around, car number 336 is in the pit lane. That's Jack Patch. That is unfortunate. Jack and I spent a lot of time this week on coaching. We got like 8 seconds out of his lap time, and now he's starting in the pits. You're killing me, man. You were qualifying all the way up in like what, P25? Oh, well, there's always next week, but now you can fight through the pack, and it's going to be something exciting. Something exciting to watch for certain.
Yeah, so they're all strung out now, single file, as they around the last couple of corners. They're gonna bunch them all up double file, and we're gonna go racing. So everybody's looking around very attentively to who's around them, wondering who's next to them, and how much do I trust that guy? Do I have a trust factor of 1 or a trust factor of less than 1? Nobody trusts anybody.
You're not wrong. Trackalicious saying he's never seen Wolfman, but confidence speaks sexy all day. If there's anything that Mr. Wolfman exudes, it's confidence, let me tell you. People saying good luck, boys. We're hoping for a good race here. And then another first-time chat from Matt Molo. Good luck. Let's go, Gutierrez. More love for Gutierrez. Gotta love it.
Fan clubs are out tonight, so we're still single file.
Yeah, the grid's going to start bunching up now into the final few corners. It's going to get real awkward real quick because everyone, after crawling through these very slow corners here, are going to have to rush to get into place.
Yep. Couple more corners to go. Here comes the mad rush to get everybody back into place.
There they come. Rounding
they
out.
Are now. Yeah, they are in the hands of Austin Sawyer now. He is controlling the field. And look at that. They're all bunched up like a bunch of Parisian mimes in a box. Yeah, I'm in a box. I can't get out. I'm in a box. Help.
Like most mimes, the box is just in their imagination. They can get out at any time they want. And our drivers are going to try and get out of the box that Mr. Sawyer is going to create for them on the first lap. The first few corners are a bit hairy, so we'll see.
So Austin's got him under control. Out of the last corner. They're lining up. They're heading toward the green lights. They're looking for the drop over. He's bringing them in slowly.
Cross that start finish. Green.
We've got a drop over. The field is all yours, Douglas.
It's a race night. Austin Sawyer holding the inside line against Gutierrez. Gutierrez holding him off. He's going to keep him honest, though. Oh, the little bit of carnage as Aoki bumps. The two BMWs coming together. That starts it a little bit. It looks like we had someone come all the way through. Sawyer gets away. Phil sneaks up into second place. Gutierrez in the third. But we did have a driver falling down the pecking order quite a bit. It was Channing that got spun all the way down, unfortunately. Drivers jockeying for position. Most of the grid making it through just fine. The car goes wide. Up ahead, that's Jan Rodricks in the BMW. Goes wide. Butler able to steal P4. Clean start for Butler, able to avoid some of the argy-bargy stuff that was otherwise mentioned before.
Butler to fourth.
Absolutely. We have Rutkowski, Chunk, and Wolfman dancing on the straight here, trying to make some moves happen. The toe is strong. Anyone within 7/10 is going to be able to gain an advantage. And you're going to see a straight line forming.
Ronan, unfortunately, got the unfortunate drive-through at the start. Must have been out of place.
Oh, GTG having a moment. The toe is strong. GTG going down the straight here in a replay. It looks like we're about to go 3 wide. The BMW behind backs. Oh, collects.
Oh, a total innocent bystander on that
Yeah,
one.
that is unfortunate. Just collected by no fault of his own. Get back out on track, my guy. There's still plenty of track and time to battle.
Little argy-bargy in the midfield, and we all know that argy-bargy is a French word for argy-bargy.
Phil Hill having a moment too, up in the top steps. I think he was in P4 at the time. Another replay here. Phil Hill just driving and then just has a spin, inexplicable spin. And because the grid's so close together, he loses so many positions just for having one off, and he has to watch painfully as all the drivers go past. He does find himself sorted back in. We're chasing. Look at this gaggle of cars. Just makes you want to go, ha, ha, ha.
There's plenty of them.
This is a tight grouping here.
Meanwhile,
we have Lorenzo. Go ahead, Andrew. What you got?
Meanwhile, Austin Sawyer has decided just to strap on his bicorn helmet and put his hand in his buttons of his shirt and just take off.
No kidding.
He's got 3 seconds on the field right now and pulling away.
We have Butler in P3 fighting Gutierrez P2. He had the toe. He has the inside line for this long turn here. Able to make the position stick. Now in P2. Now he has the task of 1, holding off Gutierrez, and 2, chasing down Sawyer ahead. Right now the gap is 4 seconds. Back into the mix here. Aoki and Kyle Martin duking it out here into the final sector. Very tight racing between the two of them. Martin able to get a run. Aoki sticking it up the inside. Great racing from these two. The black and white cars contrasting well. And you can see the trail of cars behind just waiting for a moment to happen. Lorenzo slow for whatever reason. Aoki catches up quickly. Lorenzo able to dash away as Martin kind of sneaks it up the inside. But the next turn is a right-hander. Martin.
There's that closing corner again. We're going to be talking about those closing corners. You can't get a run on anybody coming out of the corners, and you have to wait until the next corner, and you can't catch up with them and pass them before you get to the next one, and you have to be patient, and that's where everyone loses their patience as Aoki takes a walkabout.
And so does Lorenzo. So Martin gets off scot-free while 2 people he was contesting with go off on their own. And now Aoki is dealing with Miller, Sky, Whitting Jr. So the Ghost Riders, again, looking to team up against another driver like they did last week. And Sky's just kind of in the middle of everybody here. The Ghost Riders are looking to give him absolute havoc. Whitting Jr. tries to sneak it up the inside. All the drivers are trying to jockey for pace on the straight here. Who's going to get a good run? Whitting Jr. looks like he has the better one than Sky. Sky's, despite having a more powerful car, is going to be taking the slow. But Toddy in the beefy Bentley is showing its legs.
They're 12 wide.
The Audi gets away, like we said, but now BMW tucking back into the toe. It's going to be helpful down the straight, but it's not going to be enough. What's Toddy going to do? He's just going to tuck back in. That's the smart move.
Well played. Nice patience there by everybody. I think we all found that the Audi has got the best top speed on the back stretch.
You're not kidding. But Sky has a moment. It's really slippery through there. Easy to lose traction. Whitting Jr. sent it up the inside and able to keep the position. Very nice. As Toddy also has a moment because he has to keep it out of the back of Sky. He loses a position to Boysenalt, who was just at the right place at the right time. As you see, the next gaggle of cars behind, we have Lorenzo recovering from his previous move. Chunk, teammate of Austin Sawyer here in the mix. And right, we have Ruskowski up the inside and behind Menzies, Passage, and Wolfman. Oh, as we have a car going around sideways. That's Boysenalt stuck. Oh. He gets off the track. Very minimal damage for what would otherwise be a very sketchy situation. Good job avoiding all that stuff.
Well played.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen here. It's going to happen here.
Ronan serving his drive-through penalty he collected at the beginning of the race. That is unfortunate for him. He's going to be dropping positions quite heavily. Further back, we have other battles. GTG, Gurjar, and Philho. Philho recovering from what was a fourth place moment. Now looking, because he clearly has pace, to try and navigate through the field as best as possible. And JB Ruzic hanging out in the background in P24 there, waiting to see what he can collect on his own also.
Hey, Roderick's in the BMW is hunting down Sarver in the Audi. Let's see how much toe that BMW can gain on this Audi. I think the Audi's got the fastest car, but there's a lot of toe. Is he gonna just tuck it in? He tucks it in and waits for him. Very nice. That's caught in the picture there, guys.
Absolutely. We're also looking at the straight here. Toddy was trying to make a move on Lorenzo. Got a little bit of bump in action going on. These drivers are brave. There's only one true line through there. These drivers have to be careful. I've seen a lot of people skirt those 3 cones on the left side. If you do that, you're going to get a track cut warning. You only get 3 of those for free. The 4th one's going to cost you a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, hopefully that we won't see the drive-through monster catch anyone tonight. The D1 race had a lot of cuts to it. If you look at the data reports, there's a lot of cuts, but there were no drive-throughs last night. I have questions about that.
No kidding. I'm seeing, oh, we have a moment. Passage is getting collected at the end, at the tail of the final corner there. We have to take a different view here. What happens, Mr. Passage? Oh, it just gets collected by that purple McLaren. I think that was Menzies. That is unfortunate from him. He licks his wounds and gets back to the battle. Now he has to claw his way back. Boysenalt in front.
Sarver had an off moment, and he's dropped 2 positions, but he's tucked right back in behind Aoki and hunting him down again.
Further back, we have Farrell in P25 being chased by Channing in the BMW behind. JB Ruzic electing to pit. Oh, more yellow flags. Big moment, big moment. Phil Hill back around again. Let's take another look. The camera finds him. Oh, yeah, the Audi just taking a really awkward line, recovering. Phil Hill just hits the side of him. Sometimes when you're out of position like Phil Hill is, it's even more unsafe because your pace difference is just so stark. As we have Burtis on the straight here after the replay in the toe, but Phil Hill's also in the toe of Farrell in front. Oh my goodness, Phil Hill able to skirt Burtis on the inside, but now we're going to go 3 wide. Who's going to be brave? Who's going to back out? Phil Hill just tucks in front. Farrell has absolutely no visibility because Phil Hill tucks in front.
And they made it.
Burtis able to
Good driving, guys.
Yeah, nice job. Farrell loses out 2 positions for that, unfortunately. But he's ready to pounce back later.
All right, guys. Well, we're all settled in now. We're 10 minutes in, so go grab your croissant and grab a crepe and get a plate of escargot and watch these cars go. Because we're now well settled in, and we've got an auto race on our hands as Sawyer continues to lead, but he's not pulling away from Butler. Butler, I think, has all the speed he's going to need to work that lead down. But he's got his hands full of Daniel Gutierrez.
This is an absolute train. We have P11 back to P15, all within 5/10 of each other. Toddy leading it with Chunk, Sky, Flo, and Menzies in the mix. And not too far behind is Boysenalt also. We're on the straight now. People are going to be jockeying for position. And while we're doing that on the straight, I'm seeing that McGinnis is not in the race tonight, and neither is McGinnis's mom in the chat. That is an F in the chat if I've ever heard one. Oh, absolutely. McGinnis's mom. McGinnis's mom. has got it going. She watches our stream and she's in the chat. I mean, I don't even know. I'm done. I'm sorry if I scarred any of you. Speaking of scarring people, Toddy is off.
I'm done. Good night, everybody. Bonsoir.
Oh, Toddy takes a big slide. He's able to keep it out of anybody else, but like we talked about, he nearly went into the red stuff. That's how you know you made a big mistake. Big mistake. But now he's in the mix again, as he has Wolfman battling GTG. Wolfman finding himself in the top 18, looking to make a mark. Now he's trying to show Toddy who the better Bentley driver is.
I did not expect this much side-by-side racing. I expected them to get strung out and do it and running their own pace, but there's a lot of straight-up fighting going on.
You're not kidding. Back to the previous battle we had, we're fighting through Sector 1 again. We have Sky, Chunk, Flo, Boysenall, and Menzies still right on top of each other, side by side. Chunk, oh my goodness, as Sky has a little bit of a moment, Chunk gets released. But now Flo and Sky are side by side. This is a sketchy part of the track to do so. Boysenall's licking his chops, waiting for someone to make a mistake. Menzies behind Boysenall, hoping for the best. Who's going to set up the straight better?
That's always the question, isn't it? And we got in this D3 race, everyone's running at a different speed. Everyone has a different exit velocity on every single one of these corners, and it makes for all the swapping of positions. Fascinating racing here at the French Riviera.
You're not wrong. Not safe for moms is the chat now. That's too funny. I'm surprised to see that this Bentley is holding off the toe of Sky and the Audi. That Flo must be running almost no wing if he's able to keep that at bay. Very nice. We're single file through the turn here. Everyone keeping it clean. Let's see. Oh, Sky clearly brakes a lot later than Flo is accustomed to doing, and he almost has a moment into the back of him, but able to save it. Clean racing from everybody so far. I've been impressed. Speaking of impressed, Sawyer's still managing a 3.5 second gap to P2, but Josh Butler in P2 is definitely holding him, keeping him honest. He's dancing around that 4 second gap, and it's been the same for several laps now. And behind Butler is Gutierrez.
Butler's not going anywhere. Neither's Gutierrez. Gutierrez has dropped back about a couple of seconds, but he's not going anywhere.
We're at the point of the race now where you can look at the minimap. Everyone's starting to kind of piece together their race. We've had some people go into the pit stops. We've had people, oh, Gutierrez, yellow flags.
That's not good for his chances.
No, that's P3. What happens here? Just a lazy slide. Clipped it out of the wall. Oh, no. And he hits the wall for good measure. That's going to hurt his downforce. That's going to really keep him slow on the straights. And you can see he's limping on the outside of the track now. On the straight, he's going to get gobbled up from everyone behind.
Yep.
Well, luckily, there's a pretty good gap behind. Otherwise, he'd be passed with such little momentum, but he loses a few positions for that. Jan Roderick's now chasing down Kyle Martin. Kyle Martin finds himself in P3, which is the highest I've ever seen him. Let's keep him honest now, Mr. Roderick. We keep it clean so we can fight for podiums the right way.
So Butler's now clear of any pressure from behind, but he's losing time to Austin Sawyer as he's just kind of sail into the wind and he is the French Armada.
Just you wait. Michael Jeffries makes a prediction every week as to who's going to win the race, and he said Sawyer is going to win this week, which means that something bad's going to happen. I don't know if that's a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane, what have you, but it's bound to happen without fail.
It's coming.
Just a matter of time. Jan's still keeping Kyle Martin honest, hanging back a second. But Kyle Martin's showing that this is his track. We're back into Sector 1, crossing the start-finish line for another lap here Flo and Chunk going side by side into turn one. This is going to get very dangerous very quick. Flo elects to back out. Chunk takes the normal line. And just behind is Passage and Boysenalt and P13 and P14. Passage in the Ferrari looking good right now. He's got a custom livery, feeling himself. We have to show that livery on stream now that I've mentioned it. He's got...
I got it.
He's got a samurai on the hood.
See if I can get a good look at that.
It'll come around one of the... Again, these cameras are very far away from the track typically. You're looking at the BMW. You're supposed to be watching Passage in the Ferrari.
There we
go. Oh, you don't even have the custom livery. We'll work on that next week.
Oh, how did that happen?
Not sure, but Flo is keeping Chunk honest on the back straight.
Sorry, Passage.
There's always next week.
Oh. The humanity of it all.
Oh, Chunk goes wide. Flo tucks it up the inside, and he's able to capitalize on what would otherwise be a pretty innocent mistake from Chunk. But that also brings Passage, who we were just reveling in his livery, into the action. And it looks like he might have a run up the inside also. Misses it. Jeffrey's saying...
I've got the battle for the...
Go ahead.
I got the battle for the podium. Roderick has caught Kyle Martin.
Just got to keep a level head, Kyle. Just nice and steady. Put together some clean laps. This is going to be the best performance you've ever had. That's what we need. Michael Jeffries in the chat saying, crack on the bumper, dent on the ego. That must have been about the BMW incident we watched earlier. And yes, the ego is very fragile. You can ask me personally. I was attacked in the Discord today about my ego from Reader. I got my band hammer out pretty quick. Let me just tell you that. I never swung it, but boy, I wanted to real bad. Real bad.
I've got our PNP on the battle for 13th here.
As do I. Chunk, I'm looking over the rear wing here. He's looking at Passage in the back. He's getting real close.
There's a good look of the battle for the podium position. Roderick has taken the spot.
Oh, Largy Bargy. Kyle Martin says, not today, and just bumps him out of the way.
Just threw a Gandalf on him.
You shall not pass. Passage getting the move done on Chunk on the straight. That straight line speed in the toe, just too much for Chunk. But now Chunk has to be worried about Boysenalt behind because Chunk is looking really slow after that straight. Maybe not really understanding the true way to take that quick while maintaining safety. But he's definitely holding it together. P13 is a really good spot for him. Further ahead, we have Rukowski, Gutierrez, and Chasing Whitting Jr. here. Rukowski always finds himself in the mix. These three drivers have been battling for quite some time.
So Gutierrez has worked his way back into some contention. He's back up to 10th, staring down Rukowski, and it's not far up the road where he can start picking him off. He may be too far back really to think podium, but he can save a lot of points today. He's got the pace. He just needs to get through the pit stops, keep it together, and drive the pace that he's capable of driving. And he could probably work his way back up to fourth or fifth here.
You're not wrong.
That's not a bad points haul. You just keep it after having such a big moment earlier in the race. He could have a nice recovery.
You're not wrong.
And he's staring down. He's staring down 2 right in his sights right now. And in the meantime, I got some eyes on Roderick's as he is staring down Kyle Martin again. Those two may have another meeting of the minds.
Michael Jeffries in the chat saying elbows out for that Kyle Martin and Roderick's moment. And that was more than just elbows out. That was head, shoulders, knees, and toes out too, let me tell you.
Yeah, I don't think that Kyle did a lot to help his cause for winning the Nobel Prize this year. You know, I'd kill for a Nobel Prize.
I think the point is a Nobel Peace Prize. If you're killing for one, that's just bad news. That defeats the purpose.
There are no rules. Yeah, but the France has had, of course, it was originated by a Frenchman, but or was named for a Frenchman. But France has more Nobel Peace Prize winners than any other nation. So there you have it. I guess I don't qualify.
While we're talking about Nobel Peace Prizes, Philho gets past Gurjar on the straight, made it look easy. Bertus, yellow flag. We're going back 15 seconds. What happened here? All right, Bertus, 369. Damn, she fine. What are you doing? Nice and easy. Lazy slide. That's exactly what happened to me yesterday. Right in that same exact corner. Just the weight transfer is just really awkward. Really awkward. But he still manages to keep it in P22. Keep going, buddy. Whoosh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, most tracks have one, maybe two closing corners. This place has all of them, which is just death on a stick for guys trying to be competitive.
Right now we're looking at the menage a trois of Rutkowski, Whitting Jr., and Gutierrez here. They are on the straight, jacking for position. Two Beamers and a McLaren. That's a menage a trois if I've ever heard one.
It's about to be a menage a quattro.
No, we don't need that.
I think that's called something else, isn't it? And Rodriguez has caught Kyle Martin again. And the meeting of the minds is set to commence.
All right, you two, behave yourselves. Don't make me come over there.
Yeah, I think they're about to argue over a little bit of real estate. It's very expensive real estate.
Rodriguez is thinking it's free real estate.
Here we are again.
Almost a coming together a second time. Speaking of which, Whitting Jr. showing Rutkowski the same maneuver, planting a Beamer firmly on the ass of the car in front. Seems to be a common trend right now.
Yeah. Oh, and Roderick says, "Do not let me taunt you a second time."
Oh, I'm coming for you.
He just launched a cow at him.
Now that's a Monty Python and the Holy Grail reference. Hell yeah.
He says, "I've already got a Holy Grail. It's very nice.
I fought in your general direction."
Oh.
Right now, Kyle Martin says, "If your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries."
I've got a cabinet full of elderberry, thanks to my wife. And for those of you who have not had the pleasure, you can miss it.
Probably for the best.
Ugh.
Well, this group has definitely found themselves to be basically attached at the hip, and the toe is just keeping them in. But just then, the pit window opened. The format of our beloved SRA GT3 Team Series is a 60-minute race, and there is one pit stop required. You have to take fuel. Most drivers like to take 1 liter to meet that threshold. And then you don't have to take tires, not required. But many drivers just elect to skip on that because of the huge time waste it takes those pesky mechanics to swap some tires. So the pit window is open. Let's see who elects to dive in early, maybe to fix some premature damage that they had early. We'll see.
So you've got about 4 laps to get this done, maybe 5. There's an off there.
Oh, pardon the interruption. Yeah, I'm on board with Toddy's mishap here. Another lazy spin. Another lazy spin. It looks like he hit the... Oh, and he kisses the inside wall there. Another cracked ego for the counter.
And I think Kyle Martin has done the right thing. He was tangled up. He was tangled up with Rodriguez. It's the best thing he could do for himself is get out of it and go pit and see if he can undercut him. A lot of takers here. So we should have done a better job of talking about who needs to pit, who doesn't need to pit. So all these guys that are tangled up, they can't pass anybody. That's the big problem here at this track, as we've all just noticed. Those that are held up need to get in and get out and undercut these guys and come back out ahead of them whenever they come in. So we see we've got some takers, some guys who are doing exactly that.
Plenty of people pitting right now. Lots of people pitting.
Austin Sawyer stays out. That's just fine for him because he's out in clean air. He's nowhere close to lapping anybody. If he comes up on somebody the next 4 laps, he can probably dip in just to save himself some time. But he is pulling away. He's put another couple of seconds or so on Josh Butler, and Butler's still 10 seconds clear of the field.
Butler's just kind of having a moment, just cruising around Paul Ricard, vibing. He's feeling good.
We have to, somebody call him and let him know that he's not alone.
This is a big track. Sometimes it feels like you're alone.
You may not realize that other people out here racing.
Yeah. Now, for those that are keen on ACC fundamentals here, next to the driver number, you have a orange box with a 1 in it or a green box. The orange box indicates that those drivers still require a pit stop, and those that have gotten the green box have met all those metrics via pit stop and are good to go. So you're going to find that there's going to be some people jockeying. As Austin Sawyer pits, he is in the pits.
Leader's in.
Let's see if it's a short stop or a long one. Relatively short. Let's see if anyone is even remotely close.
Oh, he's clear.
He's clear. He's got some traffic on the way out, which can be a little bit hairy, but these drivers, he has to be smart. These drivers have not pitted yet, so he needs to stay clear of them, keep his head out of any damage situations here. Gurjar had a moment earlier. I'm going to go back and take a gander here. He's just cruising.
Rutkowski is in. This has implications on Kyle Martin's race. We'll see if the undercut was successful, as you're taking a look on the big screen.
Yeah, Gurjar had a big moment, lazy spin, and then he had to just wait for traffic to get clear. But now we're looking at... there we go. We're back on board with Sawyer and Gutierrez here. Rutkowski takes a drive-through. That must have been because he's not in the pits yet.
Oh!
That he must have done too many track cuts. That was the 4th. Like I said, they could have 3 for free.
He just pitted. Gosh, he just pitted. Can you get a drive-through from speeding in the pit lane?
Yes,
or is that
you
just
can.
Gonna be a stop go 30? If you really speed, I wonder if he was trying to battle the undercut, and he overdid it.
To make matters worse, he didn't even serve his actual pit stop because his box is still orange, which means he either didn't take fuel. That's the only solution because your tires aren't required. So he didn't take fuel and he got a penalty to boot. So to make matters even worse, you can't take fuel and satisfy your pit with a drive-through because you have to serve the penalty. So he has to pit 3 times now this race to make this work.
Now, just in case he was going half and half on fuel, just in case he wasn't heavy on fuel to begin with, we gotta hope he gets back around. Just in case he made it half and half, he's got to make sure because he also can't take his pit stop first. He has to take the drive-through first. So now he's got 2 more laps to go around. That's another 7 liters of fuel.
You can elect to not serve your penalty on the first one, but it's not advised. Not advised.
Okay, yeah, you need to get that cleared off.
Yeah, no doubt. I need an F in the chat for Rutkowski because he was having a good race, and now it's just devastating. His race is over. Sawyer, who we've been on board with, is now clear of the drivers behind. He cleared Gutierrez, and I think it was Whitting Jr. ended up pitting also to get out of his way. So he is clear and pushing.
Gutierrez has got to get in this lap or next lap. He has not satisfied his pit stop yet. but neither have the top 3.
They still have time, plenty of time. As long as you're in the pits, you cross the pit entry with 1 second left, you're good to go. Speaking of which, Butler, who was our leader, has elected to pit. I'm going to keep it on him to see where exactly he comes out in relation to Mr. Sawyer.
It was a 7.5 second lead going in. Let's see what it looks like coming out.
Can you put it on Sawyer to see where he ends up in comparison?
Absolutely.
He's rounding the final corner now, it looks like. Butler stopped for what seems like a long time.
Too long.
Yeah,
did he go half and half on fuel? He sure did.
He must have, because that and tires, he's sitting there parked for a long time. He's been released.
Dropped.
Yeah, even the Porsche got a pass on him in the pits because of how long that pit stop was. Now he's going to be fighting through quite a bit of traffic, but he should be feeling pretty spicy now with new tires and, again, some more fuel to boot.
I'm counting down. He ended up losing about 15 seconds is what he's going to end up losing.
Yeah, his total pit stop time was 54 seconds compared to Sawyer's 39. That's a stark difference.
So he took 15 more seconds of fuel, which means he was probably 75%, 25%.
And he didn't take tires because tires take a minimum of 30 seconds, and he was only stopped for 20, which means he just took half and half fuel, no tires.
Yeah. Exactly, which leaves Aoki as our only. Aoki and Gutierrez as our only non-pitters.
Wolfman is in the pits right now, but and then Rutkoski also finally getting into his pit stop for the 3rd time, unfortunately. No penalties, sir. No penalties. Get it clean. You're still in 16th. I don't know how. As soon as I say that, he drops a couple positions, but you're still managing. But now what we're going to see is a race of attrition. Who's going to stay off the drive-through naughty list for track cuts? I had 3 yesterday, and some drivers were picking up 2 or 3 a lap.
The drive-through monster might be the deciding factor of this race. Here comes Aoki. The leader is in. Don't speed, young man. He's in cleanly. I've got the camera on him.
A first-time chat from I am Roger for now. I'm telling you, you told Sawyer to pit. If you have clear air, the strat is to pit as late as possible.
Absolutely.
What were you thinking? Well, at the same time, though, Sawyer did have a super quick and clean pit stop, so kudos to that. The white Porsche gets out of Butler's way here. Let's go find a battle, shall we? We've watched Butler a bunch while we've been having a chat. Boys and Alt now chasing, yeah.
Hey, we're watching that one. I've also got a big one with Jobri and Gurjar are arguing over some French real estate. Let me get on the bumper cam of that one.
I'm a fan of the bonnet cam. It gives a little bit more perspective. Yeah, look at that.
There it is. That is an interpersonal discussion over what they're going to do about that piece of real estate. And I tuck up the inside.
Oh, the old switchback.
And a switchback. The old switcheroo.
Chunk has been battling the entire race. He's got to be mentally exhausted, but he still has 25 minutes left. The pit window is closed. All of our drivers have behaved and have pitted appropriately. Kudos to everybody. Only a handful of people collecting penalties. Not too shabby. D3, as I mentioned last week or the week before, that drivers really need to emphasize practice on the pits. You can gain a lot of time on your competitors if you have a clean pit stop compared to them. And it's proven to be the case. Much fewer penalties, and just looking at the data, the time stopped much less than before. I was seeing 45, 50 seconds before. Not a single driver in the north of 38. Jack Patch had the longest time stopped at 38 seconds. Everyone else less than that. Nice job, everybody.
Absolutely. These are the D2 stars of tomorrow, possibly next season. So these guys are all looking to move up, and we got a lot of candidates that have really performed well this season. As we're getting in the closing couple of stanzas of this season in the next couple of weeks.
Boysenalt able to get past Chunk. Chunk is now kind of trying to hang in there. Boysenalt putting pressure on Flo now. Flo just hoping to stay out front here. This is a battle for 9th, 10th, and 11th.
As things have shaken out at the front, Sawyer has now just really checked out. Butler has covered everybody but him, but Rodrigues is hunting him down. We'll find out if he makes any progress there. So at the moment, that looks like the podium spots are looking pretty secure. So the champagne drinkers are
yellow flag.
Should be all right.
Oh boy, we have Sky. Yellow flag. Sky finds himself in last place already, struggling big time. Another big slide. Oh man, his tires must be absolutely roasted. Once your tires go hot like that, you're SOL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm noticing right now, though? This is a big problem. I'm actually just noticing this as an admin. You realize what time it is in the race right now?
Should be almost 10 o'clock.
It is almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
it was supposed to start at 10 o'clock.
I was noticing that.
And
I just left it.
So I'm going to have a firm talking to our series managers for screwing that up, let me tell you. But at least now, what I can tell all of our viewers at home is that the viewing quality of our stream is much better with some daylight. And you get to see a beautiful sunset here in the French Riviera. If it's really dark at night, it's quite difficult to see the race. But it's still going to be light out at 10 o'clock, unfortunately, for our drivers hoping for a night race. But I guess technically speaking, the skill ceiling here in D3 is a little bit different than D1 and D2, so they have a little bit extra light to make things a little easier. As you see Menzies' lights turn on here.
Yeah, lights are turning on, and the battle is heating up for ninth as Boysenalt is stalking Ron Flo's Bentley. They've got what looks like a lap car ahead of him. He's going to let him go. That was probably the best thing that could happen there. Thank you very much.
Ronan has a moment too.
And speaking of the guy that's a lap down that just I didn't catch the number that let him by. It happens to all of us. Everybody is a lap down someday, and it is. I know it's your week that you spend all the time for, but the best thing you can do if you're part of racecraft is to go ahead and let the guys who are having their night to go ahead and fly by. So thank you very much. Thanks for the great racecraft. Always appreciated. Good to see. It's fun to watch guys race the way the real guys race. Good stuff.
Watching here Gutierrez battling Whitting Jr. Everyone playing nicely on the straight here as they round the most difficult part of the track. Michael Jeffries, I'll have you know that I did see your comment about enough toe to satisfy a foot fetish. I just didn't really want to give it that much airtime, but at the same time, it was good enough. It was good enough to make it. It was shy, like very close to the cutoff, but I like it.
Nice.
We've
got a pass here for 11.
I want everyone in the chat to try and give me a French-inspired joke by the end of the race. You have 18 minutes and change. French-inspired joke. Oh, we're going side by side, Miller and Chunk. We're giving them two angles of this.
Oops, let me get the other here. Let me get a bumper cam here, or a wing cam. I've got one that is just trivia. Olympic trivia is here in the Atlanta area. Of course, we had the Olympics in 1996 here, and so many of the countries who brought athletes and spectators and families here, they had to route the country's airlines had to route air traffic to the Birmingham, Alabama airport, because Atlanta Hartsfield Airport is already the most the busiest airport in the world. So all these countries had to route planes into Birmingham, Alabama, including Air France. But a lot of time investing in getting their people there. So what they had to do is they had to hire tons and tons of temporary workers in Birmingham, Alabama, to do reservations, customer care, all the things that answer the telephones. And the real problem there was training, because these people were from Alabama, and now they're working for Air France. So after tons and tons and tons of training in the months leading up to the 1996 Olympics, they finally got the temp workers in Alabama to answer the phone and say Air France rather than Air France. So
I think what you meant to say was, yeah, Air France, y'all.
Yeah, so after all that training, they were able to say, "Bonjour, Air France. May I help you?"
And then they spit in a can next to their desk.
Absolutely, and the ladies spit their tobacco right into the can. So, true story. Olympic trivia. That's what we went through here in the deep South, trying to get.
Ladies don't chew tobacco. Okay, they use pouches because they're classy.
Not around here.
Stars FPS, first time chat again. Also, welcome to the SRA channel here. But he made, or they, let's not make an assumption. But yeah, we're on. I'm on board with Rodrix at the moment, and he's like previously mentioned, chasing down Butler, making him honest. Butler is 30 seconds back from Sawyer. Sawyer is long gone. And
I'm going to drop back. Gutierrez is working his way back. We said Gutierrez very well could work his way back to 4th or 5th. He's got a second and a half to Whitting Jr. He's got 4 seconds to Aoki. 2.5.
He doesn't have a second and a half to Whitting Jr. He just passed Whitting Jr.
He just went flying right by him. There you go.
Now he's got a second and a half to Aoki in front.
And stalking them and running them down. He's got traffic on the outside. Can he hold it on the inside?
Give us a different angle.
We want to see the camera on that. There you go. Now I got you covered.
This is German BMW on BMW Action.
And he does not get the pass done. Let's hold it right there. It looks like he got the damage repaired on the nose of that car as well, so he's good to go. If he can just get by Whitting. Meanwhile, you got the camera on Rodrix. You got yours, I got mine.
I'm on the back of Butler looking over his wing to Rodrix behind. Rodrix is getting really close now.
Side by side, turn one. He cannot get the pass done. Oh, he got thrown again off.
Whitting Jr. showing him the moves. We have a couple jokes entering, well, I guess one joke and one fact, I should say. Trackalicious, I'm guessing that's Eric from Trackalicious, saying, I only have a French-Pakistani combo joke. I mean, give it to us. Give it to us. I want to hear it. And McMuffin, that is McGinnis, I want to say. Pretty certain. These extra different names in the chat make it hard for an old person like me to keep everyone straight. But it says he has a public awareness announcement as we... Oh, no!
Oh, Big Rat! Drop Butler around.
We have back markers causing carnage for P2. What's happening here? We have 2 green and white Audis. Butler driving his way through, trying to make it the... Oh, my goodness. Jan Rodrix able to avoid it. He hangs on to 3rd. He's probably fuming right now. I don't want to know who those Audis
He's
are
got
because
room.
he's probably going to have an absolute warrant for them after the race. But Roderick's able to sneak by and now has a 10-second gap to Butler. Butler has to just find his chi. He is driving the Honda after all. Find his chi. Keep it calm. 8-second gap to P4. You still have the podium on deck. You still have it. Oh, you're showing some of the Audis, aren't you?
That's the battle that that Butler ran into. The two Audis
Is that
are
Hill
fighting
and
for territory.
And Shackelford?
Hill and Shackelford have a straight fight to the end of the race. We got 13 minutes to go.
Oh, well, hopefully, for Butler's sake, they give him a firm apology at the end. That was tough to watch. But now he just can drive off.
Hunting down Wolfman.
Wolfman's going to hold him off. He's got a wide Bentley. And Whitting Jr.
It's a thick boy.
Yeah, Gutierrez got past Whitting Jr., but Whitting Jr. is still keeping it very close. So as I was saying before, the absolute travesty that was a P2 backmarker scenario. Whitting Jr. getting really close here. Who's going to get a better run onto the straight? All right, they both got decent runs. Back to it for a third time. Public service announcement from McGuinness says that Ratatouille is not the name of the rat in the movie. It's Remy. Ratatouille is the name of the dish that was made to impress the, and this is me spearing off of that comment. Ratatouille is the name of the dish that they served that very harsh food critic that ended up being so begrudgingly loving at the end because of the food awakening the inside childhood memories of the man. So, like previously mentioned, food is the way to a man's heart. Guaranteed.
Ron, Flo, and Farrell are having a discussion. That is Bentley on Audi.
Oh, Boys and All has a moment. We have to go back and we have to look. Whitting Jr. is still keeping it super close to Gutierrez. Let's see what happens to Boys and All here. Another lazy spin in that spot. It's such a hard spot. It catches you off guard. And Miller able to just pass by. But now Miller and Whitting Jr. are separated by 8 seconds. They are teammates. Maybe Miller is trying to work up. That's what... Oh, lazy spin from Whitting Jr. Good save. Good save. Phil Ho is chasing Channing in front. Down the front straight. Ooh, it's a drag race.
We've had a pass for 21st.
Nice.
Wolfman still holding off Gurjar.
Phil Hill makes the pass on Channing nice and clean through that first section there. Well done. Whitting Jr. falling off Gutierrez. Gutierrez building a gap. Get out of there, my guy. Phil Hill able to hold it off from Channing. He's going to be running away. We know Phil Hill has the pace. He was in P4 at one point. So he's probably going to continue to build that gap. A gap that is shrinking is Gurjar and Wolfman. Wolfman desperately trying to keep the cars behind.
We've got some McLaren on McLaren violence. Menzies and Burtis through the S's.
Burtis looks like he has a little bit of a slide there.
And he closes Menzies closes right up on him. See, here's another one of these closing corners. And here's another closing corner. And here's one that finally opens up after you've been closed. And see, and you can't get enough of a run to work yourself up to pass the guy by the time you get to the next straightaway.
Okay.
And Wolfman Gurjar makes the move.
We're on board. Gurjar able to get by. But we have to be careful here because that is P1 Austin Sawyer right next to the two here.
That is your leader, putting a lap on him.
Wolfman wisely tucks into the slipstream, but so does Gurjar. He closes the door on him. Yeah. Oh, everyone play nice. Wolfman
well done, everybody.
Now, Sawyer through clean.
Rodrigues has put a second or two back to to Sawyer, especially through that traffic. But he's not making up any time. But he's got plenty of room back to Butler. So Butler's spin really only cost him a position. He's
Oh
still got
no.
7 seconds back to Sarver.
Boysenalt, sorry for the interruption, has another moment.
Go ahead.
Another lazy spin. Oh, and collects the wall. More front damage. Backs onto the track. Oh my God, almost takes out a car. That is not the move, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your car off the track. Get it turned around anywhere else but the apex, my lord. The driver coming through there, I don't know if it was Chunk or Sawyer, just barely missed that. Oh my goodness. Luckily for them.
That brings Philho back into the conversation there for 12th place. I got a camera on the bonnet here.
Nice.
Let's see if that damage slows Boysenalt down any, and let's see if Philho can close that gap. And the software says he is closing it down. He just put a half a second on him. We're about to have a battle. By the time they get into the next corner after this one, they're going to be looking at Philho's going to be looking at the license plate and be able to read the numbers on Boysenalt's car. There it is, BR549. He can see it.
The battle between Oh, go ahead.
Let us know in chat if you just got that reference. If you got that reference, you're old. But pretty cool.
Just like you.
That's half right.
Cool and old?
You got half of it right.
So you're young and cool. Got it.
Old and grumpy. And
we're looking at Whitting Jr. and Gutierrez. Whitting Jr. able to get past Gutierrez again. So these two are just trading places.
Front stretch, turn 1, side by side, passage. Chunk. Ferrari, Aston Martin.
Give me a different angle. I want to see both cars simultaneously. Give it to me. There they are. The two of them.
I got too much to watch to get the right camera angle.
This is a tough job, let me tell you.
It's a tough gig out here, guys.
Trackalicious, following up on the Pakistani and French combo joke, says that we will miss it if we don't know our Pakistani geography. And I will be the first to admit that I do not know Pakistani geography. Andrew.
I do. Bring it on.
So there you go. Andrew, I was going to say, Andrew's the geography guy. He's always got something to say about the different tracks week in and week out.
I know my Kashmir from my Islamabad.
Bless you.
Hey, Gesundheit. I know where that's at, too. We've got battles everywhere.
Philho gets past Boysenalt on the straight. And further ahead, we have Gutierrez and Whitting Jr. still battling. Chunk and Passage still battling. Chunk gets passed by Passage. I want to see the replay here. It's probably just a pass on the straight. That is exactly what it is. Able to take the inside. Nice clean move. Respectful driving from the both of them. People in the chat saying that they like geography a lot. So, Eric from Trackalicious, give us your joke. We want to hear it. Gutierrez gets past Whitting Jr. again. Oh, Whitting Jr. goes wide in the final corner.
All right. We got to watch these guys. Because somebody's going to throw out their hands and stick out their tush and put their hands on their hips and give it a push. Somebody might do the French mistake.
They're getting spicy is what you're saying, huh?
Yeah. Did you really think we were going to get through this without a Mel Brooks reference?
No.
This fight's going to end up in the commissary before it's over with. Let us know in chat if you got that one too. We're throwing out the historical stuff tonight. That was a 1974. We still have Ferrari on McLaren violence happening here.
Yeah, I'm watching. We have McGinnis in the chat saying he's a fellow Ferrari driver saying, let's go Passage, get that horsey to P10. And he's trying his damnedest. He's 6/10 back from Philho. Philho gets a much, much better exit. So, unfortunately, was that a horse impression? I don't know. That was a little sus.
It wasn't prancing very well.
That was a dying horse, unfortunately.
Hey, why the long face?
That's a quality joke. As we have Boisenall attacking Chunk in the final section here. This is going to be a sketchy area to pass. Very, very sketchy. Boisenall keeps it on the inside. Chunk keeps it wide. Everyone avoids the sausage curbs, and a very clean move from Boisenall. Keeps the position.
Right.
Chunk almost puts it in the back, has to back out, goes out into the blue stuff, but able to keep it. And
There's
behind, yes, right behind is Channing and GTG. The 3 BMWs to 1 Aston Martin here. It's going to get spicy.
That's right. There have been no problems with the force dumpers this week. Oh, clean pass.
That was very nice move from GTG on Channing. Channing just dazzled by that inside dive there. GTG now attacking Chunk. Boisenall able to get away from the 3 other drivers while they were battling. Happy to get away. Chunk now saying, "Get off me."
So Patch has picked up 5 spots, and he's actually stalking. He's lurking around like Peter Lorre contemplating a crime, even though we're not in Casablanca, and he makes the move and makes it stick, and he's off. Well done. Nice pass.
Aoki yellow flag. Aoki yellow flag. He was sitting in P6. What's happening here? Oh, it looks like it's at the end of the straight. What happened? Oh no, another Audi, green and white Audi back marker.
Yep.
These drivers, they're in D3. They're still learning how to navigate back markers because it's tough. It's very tough. As we hear the leaders are on the final lap, Austin Sawyer doing his business. We go back to the Chunk, GTG, and Channing battle here.
Where'd the time go? We just started.
No kidding. GTG getting past Chunk. Chunk very close. Channing hoping for either of them to just collect each other so we can get by.
I've got your bumper cam on this.
They still have 1 full lap to get this battle sorted out. Sawyer 33 seconds clear of the field. That is despicable. Roderick's 13 seconds clear of Butler. Butler 9 seconds clear of Sarver in P4. That is your podium if all things stay the same. GTG able to escape. Chunk now is under duress from Channing down the straight.
Fighting for his life. Channing taking a look. He's going to tuck it back in there. That's what he's going to do. Here, tuck it back in there.
Wise
Cut
decision.
that corner.
Wise decision.
Get the exit. Get the exit.
This is the battle on track. Everywhere else has kind of sorted themselves out at the moment. As I reference the chat once more, McGinnis blessing us with a French base. Leaders on the final lap now. Sawyer able to get it done. McGinnis blessing us with a French joke. You have earned a joke for our contribution to public awareness with the Remy comment. Why do French tanks have rear view mirrors? So they can see the battle. They also carry a white flag.
We might have found our. We might have met our Waterloo on that one, guys. So we have a battle down the Mistral Strait. We haven't called the strait by the right name yet. It's the Mistral Strait.
Very nice. And Channing learning very quickly why the BMW top end speed is it's not its strength. As you saw it, even in the toe, Chunk was able to stay ahead. These guys are
Grand Voiture. As they make their way through the parking lot of the Marts Duquet.
Flo encroaching Wolfman. Oh, Chunk gets passed by Channing. Chunk going very slow. Did he run out of fuel?
He's out of gas.
He must have. He must have. He ran
What's the
out of
French
gas.
word for gas?
He ran out of fuel. Oh, no.
Hey, now, Gutierrez, we said he might get back to 5th. Well, look at this.
Chunk
He's
limping.
got a half a lap to do it.
He is harassing. Who is that? Is that Kyle Martin? Yeah.
Got him in his sights. We said he might get back to 5th. And look here. Love it when the drivers do. Oh, and he's squeezing him.
Sawyer able to get by. Chunk luckily is his teammate. Gets by, crosses the finish line just after.
We got side-by-side action on the last lap for 5th place.
I'll cover this. Can you cover Rodrix as he crosses the finish line, please?
I've got him. For a silver medal tonight. Rodrix crosses the line. Home free, lights, blinking. Well done. That's a good race by Rodrix. You got to like that. Nice race. And here comes...
Yeah, catch P3. There we go.
Here comes Josh Butler with a heck of a drive. Cross the line. That's a nice drive from him. Big comeback from last week where he actually clobbered the back half of the field after early wrecks. Now he's come back and taken himself a podium. And got himself an interview.
Yeah, it'll be coming. Sarver collects P4. Kyle Martin
Gutierrez
is able to... Yeah, Kyle Martin able to hold P5. That's an incredible race from him. Gutierrez not able to get past Martin on the final lap there. Takes home P6. Whitting Jr. P7. Finishes behind the epic battle between Gutierrez and him, but loses out in the end. But great performance from him. Aoki manages to take home P8 despite that backmarker fiasco. Oh, look at this. This is cute. This is cute. The two beamers stunting next to each other. We give them a couple angles. Like, oh, yeah.
Pardon me. Do you have any great poupon?
Well, the BMWs parking next to each other. That is Miller in P9, Philhill P10, and we're working down the grid here. Oh, Chunk with the biggest brain move I see. He didn't want to do an entirely different lap, so he waited for his teammate to pass and just crawled across the finish line. Figures. So he didn't run out of fuel, Michael Jeffries. We were corrected. First time chat from viewer Pretty Saucy. GG guys was up 12 positions and forgot to take fuel, then got a drive-through, then rage quit. Yeah, that must have been who was that ended up doing that? Who was that? We saw it. We had to do 3 separate
we
pits.
saw it. Oh, we saw he's off the board. I can't see it.
Yeah, we're getting old, like I said. We're getting old. Getting old.
Every minute.
Well, absolutely spectacular performance from all of our drivers. I need to get some drivers into our Discord so we can do some interviews.
Great stuff. We got some champagne drinkers, but even champagne's just kind of like a wine cooler that knows somebody. But we still have champagne to spray here.
No kidding. So who are our winners? We had. I don't see anyone in the chat yet. Let me see here.
We have Austin Sawyer, Josh Butler that I want to talk to.
And who collected P3?
And Butler's third. We have
That's
Rodrix in P2, and let's see if we can find some guys. There's Rodrix. His microphone is off, but we're about to fix that. Can you bring him in?
I got it, buddy. I got it. Okay. We're going to bring in Jan Rodrix here. Mr. Rodrix, congratulations on another great performance today. We French commentators, very impressed with your race. How did it feel?
Thanks. It was rough there. Hoping I could give Sawyer a little bit of a race for it, but I got hit like 3 or 4 times, so bearing a lot of damage. Steering was like hanging slightly to the left, so I couldn't get any. I was losing like half a second. So, but anyways, good race overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice recovery. A lot of nice battles you had. You got through them, and you got through all the challenges. That's half of it.
Yeah, certainly didn't expect to be up here, so it's good feeling. Yeah.
You're getting
you're
accustomed
way
to being
competitive.
up here. You're getting used to it. This is not your first rodeo.
Yeah, I think I was like P15 or 16 first race of the season, so least progress. But yeah, no, I just want to give a shout out to Sam Sneega doing all those walkthroughs. They've helped me a ton. So I think at least the second and a half a lap is down to him. So I want to give him a shout out.
I'm sure he appreciates that immensely. And what I'm hearing is that if you join SRA and you pay attention to the content, you get better as a driver. Is that true?
That's 100% true. Yeah.
Shorty with the
I don't
plug.
know about listening to you guys' commentary. I think listening to you guys' commentary might, make people a little bit slower. But that's
You're not wrong.
I certainly enjoy it.
They lose brain cells by the millisecond. Yeah. I promise
well,
you.
The commentator curse is real with you guys for sure. So hopefully you weren't watching me too much. At least maybe that's why I got hit so many times.
We do our part.
Yeah.
We manage always to find the juicy stuff. I promise.
Yeah. No, but seriously, you guys do a great job. I always enjoy watching the stream. So thanks for doing it.
We love to have it, my friend. We love hosting, and you guys give us a good show week in and week out. But Mr. Rodrigues, thanks again, and we'll catch you again next week, hopefully on the top few steps.
Yeah, hope to be back. Thanks.
Sure thing, man. Take it easy.
Great race, Jan. Let's see here. We've got
Mr. Rivas, Josh Butler.
I'm not sure why I'm in this channel. What's going on?
You are being interviewed because you finished on the podium.
I don't understand what just happened, at all.
So
you had a great race.
I just kept looking around, and be like, "What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?" And then there finally was the incident at the end where the that Audi went wide, but so did I, and we came together, and I got damage on that, and so Rodrigues was just gone. I was really surprised to see a BMW staying that close. But man, the Rivas Racing 881 was a great car today, powered by Moza Racing and ZRL, also powered by Douglas Mitchell's full body massage parlor, 50% off coupon at rivasracing.com. But yeah, man, had a great strategy. Had the guys in the back just lined everything out, and man, the Honda was just singing. The VTEC was just keeping me vibrating and loose and happy, and it was a good race.
You're not supposed to tell anyone about the massage parlor, but I'll let it slide. I
got a sticker.
It's one of my many business ventures. Got to keep this SRA thing afloat.
Fair enough. I understand it. But yeah, dude, that was fun. I only got up to P2 so quickly because there was guys that had incidents early on. But I mean, that's part of it. I'm usually the guy in the incidents. So it's nice to be on the other end of it, not the guy that, is ticked off after lap one. Just to be able to go out and run clean laps for over half the race. Led 2 laps. Haven't done that in a league race before. So yeah, just all around a good time. I'm super happy right now.
Couldn't be happier for
recovery.
you. Yeah,
and
it wouldn't be a Rivas race without an incident. So just tick the box at the tail end there. That was perfect.
Absolutely. All right, fellas. Thank you so much. Thank you for broadcasting. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for talking to me for a minute.
Absolutely. Thanks for another stellar
performance.
For a great
race.
All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Take it easy.
Got it. And we've got our winner.
Oh yeah,
Austin MF Sawyer. Are you tired of winning these races yet?
Brother, don't give me that.
Aren't you just done kicking puppies? 30 seconds ahead of the grid.
Yeah, we had a fun race.
Were you just chuckling in French the whole time? Oh, I'm winning.
Oh, oui, baguette. Je m'appelle baguette. You're welcome. No, shout outs to Pav. He's drinking beers on a beach in Mexico right now. And then also shout out to P1 on his controller Whitting. So those are my shout outs.
Oh, that's right.
And then my compatriot. Did you see his shenanigans on the last lap?
Yes, Chunk was putting in
what
some
a legend.
Work. And then, so tell us the story here, because we're not going to bring Chunk up here.
You are going to bring him up there?
No, we're not going to bring him up here. You just tell the story from his perspective. Was he out of fuel?
So I'm in disc with him, and he's like, dude, I'm going to run out of fuel. So he 5-brains it, and then he like parks right in front of the finish line to wait for me to do the lap, and he followed right after me. So he would he conceded a couple of positions, but then actually finished the race. So
we caught him slowing down, and we're like, he ran out of fuel. And then I saw you coming around. I was like, okay, I mean, clearly they're teammates. Like, I'm thinking this out. He's gonna be able to finish, but like, how many positions is he gonna lose? And it only was a couple, but clever,
big brain.
Yeah, dude, he a huge brain.
Omega brain. There's no way he's making
did it again.
That was fun.
You were flawless. You can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah.
Well,
this track's a little easier to be consistent, I guess, where there's no really curbs where you just get dumpstered Lagoon and stuff.
How many track cuts did you have?
None.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to talk about
perfection.
That.
I was playing just safe. I don't know. The first 15, I was just chilling with tires because I thought the race started at 10, but it started at 9.
It was supposed to start at 10. Someone in our in the admin department, series manager, messed up.
Yeah, I was like, oh wait, it's 9. Oops. So my tires were red hot.
Yeah. That's our bad. Well, that's our bad. But you managed. We threw you a curveball and you hit it out of the park.
Oh well.
I'm gonna be nitpicky though because you've had an answer for everything.
You what?
I'm going to be nitpicky because you've had an answer for everything. Andrew said that it was perfection, but you took 5 seconds in the pits instead of 3. Okay, so there's 2 seconds of time loss right there. That can be cleaned up.
That was my cleanest pit stop ever, though. So we'll take it.
And
we didn't get a drive through at the start. I was sweating.
Yeah, you cleaned it up. You stick to your guns this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the chat was loving you, and they had you winning this race from the get-go, even before you put it on pole in qualifying. So another great performance from you. And again, it's part of the course.
Thanks to you guys for commentating. I know you guys take out of your time to do this stuff. Appreciate it. I always watch it once I'm done, just double speed.
I'm sure we sound goofy in double speed.
No, it's pretty funny because you guys are cracking some good ones.
Well, this week we asked the audience for some French jokes, and they delivered.
There were no jokes tonight. Trust me, there was nothing but serious stuff tonight. There was nothing funny about tonight at all. But you stunk the show up again. So thanks for stinking up the show.
Yeah, sorry.
Austin Sawyer for D1.
No. Actually, we have an announcement that Chunk is moving. So I will be teammate-less for the remainder of the season and next season.
All of next season?
Not for long.
RIP.
Where is he going? He's going to be gone for 12 weeks.
I know. Well, he might catch the tail end of next season. I don't know. It's up to him. But he doesn't want to take some stuff. He's in the Army, so.
That makes sense.
You might get a phone call.
Yeah, right?
You might get a phone call.
It's 877 cash now.
It's the one.
JG Wentworth, is that you?
Yeah, it's JG Wentworth. Livery leak.
Ooh, well, let me tell you, I promise you that the team principals of the large conglomerates, now that it's been leaked that you are our viable driver for next season and that you're teammateless, they're going to be sliding into those DMs. I promise you.
Yo, slide hard. Got that drip.
Yeah, you already know.
I think McLaren and Ganassi have a driver problem, so you may end up walking right into a job there.
Hilarious, so true.
There are lots of movements in teams I've been hearing through the grapevine. Lots of mix up for next season.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for next season.
Should be good. Should be good.
Can we get a Brands hatch on the docket?
The seasons have been determined already, and I'm not going to spoil what those tracks are. So,
give me the first letter of one of the tracks.
No. And what I can promise you is that for next season, we will have a livery and season reveal like we did last season. So keep abreast for that. That's going to be several weeks away, though.
Wait. So the same as last one? So they're together, or two different ones?
Yeah, it'll be together. We'll do I'm going to be actually on an Alaskan cruise when we're planning this. So
nice. So you're going to be sober.
Exactly, 100% sober and looking at all cool glaciers. But I'm sure Tyler will do a fantastic job relinquishing all the different tracks and all of our cool liveries for season 4. Speaking of which, season 4 has a livery theme of throwback.
Throwback.
So vintage liveries or themes from days past.
Well, if you're on a cruise and not able to help out, you have to send a shoey in. I'm calling you out.
A shoey? Shoeys are only for people that win. And I don't know if you've watched any D1 races this season, but I am terrible.
You're close. Well, how about this? You gotta send a chug at least then. Shotgun a beer, do a big old glass.
I mean, I'm not against drinking and then filming it and then sending it to people, but it's not going to be for any particular reason.
I want it part of the stream. I want it a part of the stream.
Well, I'm doing so bad that I'm going to get relegated to D2. So,
hey, you want to drive the Aston?
Team principals?
Hey, I may be seeing you there, so you might get that phone call. Might be from me. You never know.
Hell yeah!
Are we looking at the biggest conglomerate in D2 right now? Is this what we're looking at? Well, enough conspiracies, gentlemen. I'm going to concede this interview so that we can keep on track here. But Austin Sawyer, another very, very good drive from you, and D1 it will be happily awaiting you next season.
Dude, D1, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
The SRA rating system doesn't lie. Have a good day.
Yeah, later, guys. Thanks.
We did it again, my friend.
I couldn't agree more, Andrew. Make sure that Otis doesn't eat too much of that baguette because that's too many carbs, you know.
He's on the keto diet. So he doesn't get any carbs.
Yeah, amen. Amen. Cool. Well, great job from everybody this week. And Andrew, I really appreciate your time in the booth with me today. Do you have any final remarks?
Final remarks is we had a lot of fun. Thanks to the drivers for all the effort they put in. We say it every week, but only because we mean it. You guys are the stars of the show, and we couldn't do it without the league. You guys are it. Love all the drivers. Love watching you guys. We do this because we enjoy it, but we enjoy watching these guys because of the quality racing we have and the quality guys we have. We like sharing space with the guys that are all together here, and I think all the guys that are on track tonight like sharing space with each other, as far as I know. And I would expect nothing less. So, what a great group! And if you're watching this stream, and if you've made it this far, and I pray to God you've made it this far, if you did all this, give SRA a look because it's where a lot of friendships are at. It's where a lot of good guys are at. So that's all I got. And the only thing I've got left to say is "Vive la France!"
Viva la France! Viva la Revolution! Viva SRA! And let me tell you, if you're interested in joining, piggybacking off of Andrew's comment, simracingalliance.com will have all the information you need. On that note, good evening, SRA Nation. Thanks again for another great week.
So long!